Remember that feeling, don't we? That surge of adrenaline, the lights dimming, the pyro erupting, that moment where the world paused because Monday Night Raw had just started, and anything could happen. Austin could storm the ring and drop McMahon with a stunner. Randy Orton might plant a kiss on Stephanie while Triple H watched in handcuffs. John Cena might crash Edge through a flaming table. The Undertaker could rise from the shadows. The Rock? He'd electrify the entire building with just one eyebrow. It was chaotic, it was wild, it was unpredictable, and it was magical. Those were the nights you didn't dare miss. Not because you had to, but because you couldn't. By the time Tuesday rolled around, the whole school, the whole office, everyone was buzzing, talking, arguing, reliving it. Those Monday nights didn't feel like a wrestling show. They felt like an event, a memory in the making, a cultural moment that made you stop whatever you were doing just to witness the madness unfold. Fast forward to today, and that spark, that energy, that electricity, gone. When Vince McMahon finally stepped down in 2022, the wrestling world let out a collective breath. For the first time in decades, there was hope. Hope that things would finally change, that the glory days of WWE would return. Triple H was taking over. The fans were optimistic, and for a brief, fleeting moment, it actually felt like the magic was coming back. The storytelling had purpose again. Seth Rollins reinvented himself into a must-see act. The Bloodline saga was pure cinema, a Shakespearean family tragedy told through fists and betrayals. CM Punk returned and brought fire back to the product. Cody Rhodes came home, picked up where his father left off, and told a story that felt destined for the ages. WrestleMania 40 reminded us all why we fell in love with this chaotic, beautiful art form in the first place. It felt alive, it felt real, it felt like wrestling again. But then, like a light bulb flickering out, something shifted, and the glow started to fade again. Let's rewind. Remember when Raw and SmackDown had their own identities? Raw was red, explosive, edgy, wild. SmackDown was blue, sleek, fast, sharp. Even the arenas felt different. And pay-per-views? They weren't just names slapped onto a calendar. They were experiences. Hell in a Cell drenched everything in dread. SummerSlam felt like a blockbuster beach party. No Mercy carried weight. Armageddon, Backlash, Vengeance. Each show had a distinct vibe, a unique look, and a purpose. And then HD came, and with it, a wave of uniformity. Suddenly, every show looked the same. Giant LED boards, generic lighting, identical stages. Raw looked like SmackDown. SmackDown looked like every PPV. WrestleMania, the crown jewel, started to look like an overproduced commercial. The uniqueness, the creativity, the craftsmanship, gone. What about the theme songs? Remember when one note sent chills down your spine? When the glass shattered, you knew chaos was moments away. When the gong hit, you braced for death. Themes used to be an extension of a superstar's soul. They told you everything you needed to know about who was coming out next. Now? They sound like royalty-free background music, forgettable, interchangeable, empty. And then there's the sponsorships. Every inch of the ring is now real estate for advertising. The mat? A canvas for energy drinks. The barricades? Branded. The announce table? Drowning in logos. WrestleMania isn't about immortality anymore. It's about whatever crypto company paid the most that month. Prime logos everywhere. QR codes in the corners. Every segment feels like a product placement instead of a storyline. Even the lighting has lost its impact. Everything's too bright, too sterile, too polished. Remember when Hell in a Cell used to flood the entire arena in blood red and dread? When you feared what was going to happen inside that steel structure? Now it's just another event with slightly different LEDs. They say the production value is at an all-time high. Technically, yes. The cameras are sharper, the screens are bigger, the visuals are cleaner, but the soul is gone. And the roster? Once upon a time, even the mid-card was must-see. Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H, Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, Mick Foley, The Undertaker, legends. And if they weren't on screen, you had Eddie Guerrero, RVD, Edge, Christian, the Hardy Boys, all telling stories that mattered. Every match felt like it had weight, every character had purpose. Then came the OVW class of 2002, Cena, Batista, Orton, Lesnar, 4 game changers, 4 future Hall of Famers in a single year. But somewhere down the line, WWE made a choice. Pick one, build around him. Ignore the rest. They did it with Cena. For over a decade, they fed every rising star to him. And when fans turned on him, WWE doubled down. Years later, they made the same mistake with Roman Reigns. Force-fed him to crowds who weren't ready, ignored organic reactions, ignored logic, ignored potential. Until finally, they turned him heel, created the bloodline, and struck gold. But it took nearly a decade to get there. Now the talent is still there. Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor. But they're just good, not mythical, not larger than life, because WWE doesn't know how to make people feel important anymore. Half the roster is just there. The other half is part-time legends flown in twice a year to carry a stadium show. Triple H built NXT into the hottest wrestling show in the world. Everyone from the champion to the newest debut felt vital. But somehow, that magic didn't make it to the main roster. And maybe that's because the game isn't in control. TKO is. A corporation that doesn't understand wrestling. A company that sees WWE not as a sacred craft, but as IEP, intellectual property to be branded and then monetized. Storylines are second to sponsorships. Moments take a back seat to market trends. They proved it when they pulled Cody's moment from under him and gave it to The Rock. Not for storytelling, but for clout, for clicks. They proved it again when they turned Cena heel at Elimination Chamber. Not because the fans wanted it, not because the story needed it, but because a boardroom in LA thought it would be viral. And when The Rock vanished with no follow-up, no resolution, no explanation, the damage was done. Worse still came the budget cuts. Record profits, billion-dollar Netflix deals, and yet talent gone. Braun Strowman, Dakota Kai, countless others, cut to save costs. While ticket prices soar, while VIP packages go for the price of a new car, WrestleMania front row, $40,000, VIP, over $100,000. Even Randy Orton, a made man in WWE, called it insane. They exploited European fans. Fans who hadn't seen live shows in years charged them WrestleMania prices for house shows. Because they could. Because loyalty was a weakness to be monetized. And now, every decision reeks of marketing. Matches are booked to sell products. Segments exist to push brands. Promos feel scripted by people who've never been in a fight. Everything's safe. Clean. Sanitized. Gone is the danger. The unpredictability. The chaos. The reason we tuned in. There was a time when Stone Cold might drive a beer truck to the ring and soak the corporation. When Kane might set someone on fire. When DX might invade a rival promotion. When Jeff Hardy would jump from the heavens just to make you scream. Now, they pipe in cheers. They mute boos. They edit chants. They manufacture everything. And here's the hardest truth to swallow. The people running WWE today don't understand wrestling. Vince McMahon had faults. Endless faults. But he understood one thing. The ring is sacred. The magic is real. The transformation that happens between those ropes can't be measured on a spreadsheet. But TKO doesn't see magic. They see monetization. They don't see emotion. They see engagement. They don't see wrestling. They see content. WWE used to be unforgettable. Now it's just unrecognizable. And the saddest part? You can't fake passion. You can't buy belief. You can't brand magic. And once you lose it, truly lose it, you may never get it back.